Oh, everybody knows what we're here for anyway, but to make it short, because I don't speak too good no more. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And I said, well, that's it, that's over with. I sat around and felt sorry for myself for about 8 or 9 months. And right before Christmas, I got thinking about things. And some songs started going through my mind. I wrote a song called The Ballad of Narvel Phelps. I started back in early 50s just as a kid. If I start checking out, I'll stop and start all over again. And you might remember Oney Wheeler? Playing Oney Wheeler's Ozark Crowd. Playing country music, and Narvel Phelps came down and started playing rock and roll music. I didn't like it at all. Rockabilly music it was. I started thinking about all the old times, the Jimmy Barnes and the Jim Akins. I wrote a song called The Ballad of Narvel Phelps, and I let Narvel listen to it. He said, man, that's a good song. So play a little bit of it. Jimmy, you want to play a little bit of it? Narvel said, we'll just put some of my old songs in there. Narvel that lost his son was real low. He lost his son in a car wreck. Boy played drums for him, and it's about killed him and his wife both. And played a little bit of the song, got all this started. So, Jim Akins go.
Jimmy Akins is back here.
Where'd Jim Akins go?
All right. You want me to play it?
Yeah, I was talking over the microphone to you playing, I guess, so I was getting that stick in your ear. Because Jim can't hear no more. I thought I was the one that was afflicted, Jim. Hey, Jim. Listen, Jimmy, I'm about to sing you a corner. And so he said to send it to him. They have a chapter, one in London, England, and one in Wisconsin. I think it was a little chicken house, something like that. And so I sent it to them, they really liked it. And they put it on their Rockabilly CD that goes all around the world. I released it in London and in England, in Europe. I mean, it went number 4 in Europe. So it got me rolling in Europe pretty good.
That's why I sing those country songs in the joint called Oney Wheeler's. It was 16 tons Goliath.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was.
You got it there?
And I'm telling you about the Oney Wheeler part of it. Supposed to have a cure for Parkinson's this year. I hope they do. Be nice with them. It's really serious now. Parkinson's is serious now. Michael J. Fox has got it. Let's all do something about it now that he's got it, okay? A million other people kind of wasn't serious till he got it. Now he's got
Maybe
it.
it took somebody like that to help find a cure for it.
Let's hope so. At least make them pay attention to it a little bit.
That's right.
You got the song on there, boy?
I wrote a song called Parkinson's Blues, too.
Send it to Michael J. Fox.
You ready to play it, Lou?
I thought he was going to play that song before. Before that go. The guy found it and he didn't play that Jim Boy, too.
That's Jim's son. What do you expect?
That's Jim. Okay, here you go.
That's why I sing those country songs in the joint called Oney Wheeler's. It was 16 tons Goliath. Hank Wheeler was on the range. Was old just a little bit old, and the man was standing on the horizon and about to take that book to a brand new page.
Whoa, oh, 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 I am lonely.
Narvel Phelps. me on that song.
That was myself. Yeah. Bubs Awakening. Rock on, you and Loretta. Yeah, next one right behind you. Here comes old DJ Buddy's cousin Carl and Daddy Ram. Rock on, Carl, rock on. Yeah, rock on.
Now turn it off. Okay, that's how the thing started, okay? That's how things started for me at the Hall of Fame. I turned that song into the Hall of Fame. They liked it. Liked it so much they said, we'd like to, get some more information on you. So I told them I started recording in '62, and I've already recorded up to have a Parkinson's disease in '97, '98. So they checked me over and they said, we'd like to put you in the Hall of Fame there. I said, no, the Hall of Fame is no big deal like the country music hall. This is a thing for musicians. They're working on a Hall of Fame now museum in Nashville. They just got the grant to make it what do you call those things? Not a welfare check, but what do you call it that? A grant, yeah. That's what it is. Welfare check for people, for big corporations. And now they made a big grant for it. It's going to be called they're setting up Nashville Hall of Fame Museum. And the guy that started it, Bob Timmer's a real nice guy, devoted his life to it. Not only, they got the Elvis Presleys and Buddy Hollies and all that in there. But I told Jim, Buddy Holly, put games in Bob Timmons, I said, there's people out there that was there too that didn't have all the big hits out. Guys like Jim Akins and Jimmy Boyer, people that worked out, they had records out, but they wasn't a big monster. It was part of the music too. It's true. When Jimmy Boyer came to our area, he had a brand new style of drum playing. Nobody was playing like that before. Where you at, Jimmy?
Right here.
Have it around Jimmy Boyer right here. That's it, right.
You want this right now?
No, I just want to pick around the balls. Sit down, Jimmy. Anyway, he had a different style of drum. He was a great singer and a good drummer too. Jimmy Atkins, you don't shut up. I'll turn you over my knee. I don't feel like breaking my leg right now, so shut up. Anyway, Jim came to our area and played drums. Knocked out singer, great drummer. Everybody loved him in that area. If not for one guy getting pissed off at everybody, these guys never would have been in the Hall of Fame. Bill Black got mad at Elvis Presley. And he quit playing bass for Elvis Presley. Started the Bill Black combo. He had Dennis Turner, Fred Harrell, Jim Akins, and Jimmy Boyer. He recorded them all in Memphis one. Find another Elvis Presley thing. And find another Elvis. So Elvis, you can't do me this way. I'll find a big star myself to go. But instead he didn't do that. He started having 5 or 10 Bill Black combos. Although we all playing one time, so he'd make more money. And so they all recorded the same song. Billy Swan wrote a thing called Lover Plays. All got a great version of it. Well, I had the CD out. This one here, out of Norfolk. Matt Lucas, who used to play drum for Norfolk, said, Lou, you need to send that CD to Sweden. Let them guys hear it over there. So I let the people hear it in Sweden, and they have this magazine here called American Music. They love our music in Europe. It's got the American Music magazine. On the back of the 50s and 60s, they love our music. Look at this old car, an old Rambler. Everything is 50s and 60s. They love our culture from the 50s and 60s. And so I got talking with them, and they're going to do my life story next month. I got the cover of the magazine in Sweden. And they said, Lou, do you know a guy called Dennis Turner? And I said, well, yeah. I live about probably 10 miles from him. So we got to checking on him and recorded a song called Lover Please. Bill Black got mad and wouldn't let him release it. And Clyde McFadden got a hit on him. Stole the style and everything. I said, Dennis Turner don't record it. Jimmy Boyer recorded that song too. The guys here stuck straight and said, Jimmy Boyer recorded too. And I talked to Jimmy Boyer. Jimmy said, I recorded it too. Everybody recorded with me, I guess. So it's got to be a big story now. They're checking on these guys. I want to hear about. You'd have to be in Europe to know what goes on. They know more about us than we know about ourselves, our music, you know. And I'm finding Jamaicans everywhere now. Jamaican songs was released in Germany, Sweden, and sold, and he didn't even know anything about it. People made money on Jamaicans, and Jim never knew anything about it. Same with me. Jimmy Boyer. Pirates. Tortuga Pirates, I guess. But this is a little bit to pay these guys back. The Hall of Fame is a bunch of guys. This man is coordinating the talent. Anywhere in the world they can find Jimmy Boyer on the website, or Jamaicans, or me. They can read about Jimmy Boyer, Jamaicans through Hobbs. They want to book them, they book them. I played last year, I played the biggest festival in one of the biggest festivals in Europe, called the Americana Festival. And it's my second page paper. It's my first one here. Yeah. Yeah. I got this chart from Germany. Guy says he wrote me, said he couldn't speak English. Had a friend write the song. Just write to me about the songs. See, he produces TV shows and radio shows for 3 different radio stations, two in Germany and 1 in Sweden. Has 1.5 million listeners. I got 6 songs in the charts on this thing. Didn't know the number 1 song and 5 songs off my album. It's been going on for years. Nobody knows anything about it. And I finally just learned about it. I went and played at the festival. They booked me back for next year, even with Parkinson's disease. And they really, really appreciate our music there. It's the first big show I played since Parkinson's disease, and went over really great. They thought it was Elvis Presley. I didn't quit shaking to him. But the thing it is, I'd rather shake than quit. I ain't gonna quit, I'm gonna keep going. If they can stop his monkeys from shaking, they'll stop me from shaking on his head. And I don't usually go shake this much, you know. You stick more than this usually. I'm just kidding you. But usually I do real good, you know, for myself. Get out where you don't want to shake, you know. If I'd said, wish I could quit shaking, the more I try to quit shaking, the more I shake. So don't worry about it, get in the studio. I done this CD here. This one here. I recorded this one just a few months ago. I wrote all 12 songs on it. Recorded them all. It's all brand new CD. 13 to 12 songs. And so I just decided, well, I'm gonna try to get back on the stage and get working again. The only thing you do is get back on the stage and start. Keep it up. I started out like this, and before the night was over, they said more and more. Put the picker wants to hear and pick it, want to hear them say more. You know. But the thing with it is, whether they get a cure or not, I don't care, I want to keep on going. If you don't like it, you can't whip my ass, because I'm really mean. Meaner now than I was before. I'll tell you what, nothing makes me happier. Somebody busts me right in the jaw. And I really like it. So I'd like this time to present a guy that everybody knows, to get these awards to these guys who really deserve them. Except for Davey Lee. Davey, where you at?
Well, get my notes here and we'll figure it out. It is good to see you folks. By golly, I've got to visit with a lot of folks I haven't seen in about the last 120 years, and one of them was Jimmy, as a matter of fact. We have worked a whole lot of places together, and even sang in some of them, now to think about it. Yeah, because they would let us drive the bus, sweep the floor, and once in a while pick a song or whatever, but I've known him for a whole ton of years. This is my first time to meet Jimmy. Talking about Jimmy Booyer. Missed him down the line, of course, was born here in St. Genevieve, so we'll go by the notes. His mom and dad were musical. Yeah, they played instruments and sang. See there? And little Jimmy, at an early age, kind of caught on to that and said, yeah, we can do some of that. So at about, what, 10, 12 years old, when he really started singing, you guys started paying attention to him. Found he could carry a tune. Yeah, and that's sometimes tough to do for those little youngsters, but he went on, started playing drums at a very early age and turned into one of the best rockabilly drummers in the business. Guarantee. When he was working with Billy Swan, he was a real backbone of all that whole group, and they had all the hit records and did all the things, and Jimmy was in there swinging with the drums. He worked with the Marshall Newell band and recorded a whole ton of good things. And he got to work with an old buddy of mine from down in Texas, an old West Texas boy named Bobby Luman, that you all remember, big rockabilly singer. Got to pick with him. And one of the sweetest people in the world, Steve Warner. He got to work with him, one of the best guitar men in the world too. And Steve's been an old friend for a whole lot of years. And he worked with a lot of bands in the Detroit area up there, and made himself quite a niche in that area. Worked on a whole lot of hit records with Billy Swan and Newell and some of the other people. Got to travel in Europe. Got to see a whole lot of the country that whole lots of us will never see. And it was kind of fun for him during those years, and all of a sudden decided to settle down in the Detroit area, and had to go into the cancer center over in Boston, the only place they were doing a particular type of brain tumor type surgery, and we're glad that God invented them, man, because they came up with something that works, and Jim's doing well. But it's been a great road for him. He's worked with some of the biggest names, of course, in the whole world. He's been with some great hit records, with some wonderful, wonderful groups. And as a drummer, a singer, I tell you what, man, he is one of the very best. And it is my honor to present this induction to the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. This is no small feat. This is something that a whole ton of folks have been picking and singing and trying to do for a whole lot of years. And as they say, many are called, but few are chosen. And I'm really glad that they chose Jim Booyer for the Rockabilly Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Jim.
Turn this way.
Thanks a lot, and I am real proud to have this. Let me turn it right side up so I can talk about it. By God, that is me. And I'm glad you all could make it today.
I'm glad you could make it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could make it too. Thank you. Let's give that fine man a round of applause. Still hot? Thanks a lot as usual. Been a long time since I've seen you. A whole long time. Mom, that's going to make you happy.
Very happy.
No, I'm talking about the picture. What'd you say, Jim?
Sing one.
Boy, this leaves me speechless. And I haven't been speechless in a long time. I want to thank y'all. Thanks a lot.
Great drummer, does a great job singing. Got to mention a couple of words about Lou Hobbs. Hobbs, have known him for about, 125 years, I guess. Has to be at least. And he was always one of the best entertainers that I think I ever knew. And anybody that can go down and do his TV show that he's been doing for, 15 years now? They're going to make you a steady show one of these days, put you on regular, are they? Yeah, me too, but keep trying, it's all right. But last time I saw Lou, we were over at Bob Hammer's place over in Cedar Hill back in 1922, I think. I'm not sure, but it's been a long time, it just seems like it. But Lou has always been one of the great entertainers, and he's going to be getting one of these plaques before long. Has to, man, I can't keep him out of there, because he's one of the great pioneers too in rockabilly. The problem with rockabilly back then is guys were doing country, they were doing rock and all that sort of thing, and somebody, I don't know who came up with the term rockabilly, it was a disc jockey somewhere, but they didn't have a place to put people in the charts, even though people like Lou and Jim and our Jim there were having hit records. Radio stations all over the country, they couldn't get in the national charts because the people didn't know where to put them. You had Billboard, Cashbox, Record World, some of those, they didn't know where to put it, the group. But everybody in the industry knew them, and I sold a lot of records and all over the world. As a matter of fact, all across Europe, and even in the Scandinavian countries and the Far East, rockabilly is big, has been for a long, long time, and these guys will do very, very well there for a long time, including a young fellow named Jimmy Akins. Jimmy, of course, from, I wondered when I first heard about Jim, I said, how could a rockabilly singer be from something called St. Genevieve, Missouri? I said, hey, but Ken Brother said, no, St. Genevieve. Okay, that I believe. See, now I'll go along with that. But then got to know Jim. I came up to WIL back in the dark ages, back in '68 when they went country. I was in Dallas, took a long left turn going to Shreveport and ended up here. And it's worked out very, very well. And got to meet Jim very, very early on. I'd heard about this piano player. Always had a great trio, always had great side men, and just worked and just killed you. And then finally got to see Jim, and I've been fortunate enough to work a lot of dates with him, a lot of places, and it's just a wonderful experience just knowing Jim for all of these years. He and Marcia and the kids have been wonderful to me for all these years. And Jim, of course, started like all the rest of us in this mess. Started out very, very early. He was about 10 years old and decided he wanted to play piano. And he was doing rather well, playing classical music. And then he asked a piano teacher if she'd buy him Don't Be Cruel, the sheet music. And she did. So Jimmy started learning how to play Don't Be Cruel, entered his first real contest, and won the contest doing Don't Be Cruel. And he found out, hey, this is for me, all right. So he got with the Red Cohen Band at about 15 years of age. And then he went to St. Louis after he'd got some things going. And they put him on the old Russ Carter show. A lot of you will remember them. And they wanted to record Jimmy. And his dad said, well, it'd probably be a pretty good idea, but I want the boy to go to school. Get him some learning, then maybe he can pick on the side or do whatever. And I love the story Jimmy tells that he did finish high school, just playing around, part-time things, weekends. Then he got him a music scholarship to college. So they went walking in one door and just kept on going down this long hall that led to a door going outside. I took it and I was back in St. Genevieve before I knew it. So it was not a great scholastic career in music because Jimmy knew what he was going to do, but it wasn't a highbrow, wasn't a lowbrow. It was kind of somewhere in the middle called rockabilly. Of course, we were all just doing country back in those days, but when he got with the Rhythm Steppers, that's when he really got serious about doing his music. That was back in, what, 61, 62, somewhere around there. But Jimmy, yeah, and of course, Jim Booyer had been a great friend. They had worked together for quite a while. And then later, Jim's brother Tank came along, and they worked together, still doing some stuff and still working. Was reading in here that I didn't know about Jim, that he and old Dave Baker, y'all probably know David, he's been a great musician around here and singer for a whole lot of years, and they worked at a place called Chateau de Ville for 9 years on Friday and Saturday night.
No, he worked at the Starlight Club with me.
Oh, did he?
He didn't work at Chateau.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't let him in there either. They went over Starlight. Who cares? They worked over the Night Gallery, though, and got to work with a whole lot of the stars from Nashville. And the problem with Jim, when he worked with those stars from Nashville, nobody wanted to follow this opening act. He'd get up there and play piano and tear them up like a sow's bed, and them cats from Nashville said, take a long intermission. True story, right? Yeah, take a long intermission, man. I ain't following that. It's kind of like when Charlie Ritz decided they was going to follow Jimmy Stafford at a theater in St. Louis, and Stafford came out and worked and killed her. They took a 35-minute intermission because people still wanted Stafford. That's what they did with Jim Akins and his group, man. He met up with an old in-law and outlaw, Lou Hobbs, along the way. And Louis said, you know, Bo, we ought to record you, get some stuff out. get them to some people that we know and that sort of thing. And it's been an association that's lasted, I guess, a lifetime and will. They've been friends for a long time, and Lou very instrumental in getting a couple of things done for Jimmy. And one of my prized possessions is the album that you saw over here about the other kings. Jim gave that thing to me back in 1927, 28, somewhere in there. And, well, maybe it's in the 70s. But he laid that on me. That's one of my prized possessions, is that particular album. His records still do well overseas, do pretty good in this country. It is indeed a great pleasure to present the James Wayne Boyer plaque to Jim Akins. He figured if Jim's such a good buddy that I'll just take, it said James, and so Brother Boyer said, what the hell, I'll take that one. It weighs more, right? So Jimmy, you'll have to pick yours up on the table. We'll act like this is yours. If you'll bring that with you, we'll trade with Jimmy here, because you think I'm kidding, but this is the one for Jimmy, isn't it? I thought. No, he didn't. I'm lying. I thought you'd taken it. I was covering it up so you couldn't see it. But he did take the right one. So indeed, to a fellow who's been a great friend, who've loved him and the family for so many years, and it's just indeed a pleasure to present him to the Rockabilly Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen, our good buddy, Jim Akins. One thing about it, after Jim weighed about 110 pounds in high school, and he'd picked up a couple of, last year they voted him best new group in England. That's tacky, I'm sorry. Jim Akins, ladies and gentlemen, come on.
This guy's something else. Me and him started a country show. Sort of fell flat on his face, but we worked a lot of jobs together. And he played a lot of my records for me when I had country sounds out that Lou helped me get together. And Jimmy back there, he helped me get started. We've been in this business a long time, and I really appreciate this. I didn't think this would ever happen. And I thank Lou HOF from the bottom of my heart for this, because he's a great friend. And you just don't find people like Lou. I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, Lou. I lost track of you. I don't know where you're at in the room, but I'll tell you what, he's a great guy, folks. And we had a lot of good times together. I could tell you some stories that make your head swim. About the Shoney's in Nashville, for one. Yeah, we had supper not too long ago in Cape Girardeau. Lou took me and the wife out and went to a Mexican restaurant. He bought me everything on the list there was, I think, to eat that night. Took me to the show, him and his wife, Nancy. They're sweet people, and I just don't know what to say no more. I just appreciate the award. And David Lee back here, I'll tell you, this guy here, me and him did a show together. I am going to tell you about this one. David asked me if I'd do a show to help him to do Whitey Herzog. It was a benefit thing, wasn't it, David? Best I remember?
Yeah.
Up in St. Louis at Whitey Herzog's restaurant. We raised quite a bit of money that night for the charity we was working for. And I was taking David home. He was living in Hillsboro that time, and he was working on WIL. And I let him off, and I was coming through Hillsboro, and I didn't watch. I was bad driving, you know, in the middle of the night, especially. Well, anyway, I was coming down through Hillsboro, and I was the only one in town besides the law. And I made a left-hand turn to right-hand lane. This guy pulls me over. He says, "Sir, I guess you know that you broke the law." I said, "What did I do?" He said, "You know, you're supposed to stop at a flashing red light." And I said, "Well, I really didn't know that, sir." He said, "Well, here," he said, "I'd like to have your driver's license." He said, "That'd be a $50 fine." And that was what David had given me $50 that night to cover expenses for me to drive that night. And I'll never forget that as long as I live. That was a learning experience. But I tell you what, I'm probably the only man in the state of Missouri that's been stopped by the highway patrol about 50 times for driving late at night, weaving over the line. and I've been lucky. There's been an awful lot of them been very lenient. But I do appreciate this award and all the people that supported me throughout the years, and I really appreciate all the musicians that's worked with me that's here today. And I had one fellow back there, Vernon Fligg. He played drums on one of my records I did in the 60s, Lonely Weekend and Finest Girl in Town. And I cherish some memories. And one boy we lost, Charlie Penberthley, today would have been the greatest guitar player that was around, but he got killed and snuffed out at the age of 16 years old. And Vernon will tell you he was the finest young guitar player that you'd ever walk on a stage with. Now, this honor sort of goes with a lot of these guys too, and I want them to share with me. And I'm happy for Bobby Waymar and all of them here with me, and Jerry Bird. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry, but I'm glad these guys all showed up. I appreciate it, and thank you all very much.
Wait a minute, Gary.
Here comes Mr. Rockabilly himself. I think he ought to put a whole lot of shaking going on out, you know? No, that's not a joke.
Before everybody leaves, I got to do this one time. I got the TV camera one. The song that got everybody going. These guys all recorded the same song, remember? Love, please, please come back.
Don't take the train rolling down the track. Don't, please, don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. Oh, little story, not too long, about a love that went all wrong. The girl loved the boy just as bad. Now she's gone and she's so sad. Love, please, please come back. Don't take the train rolling down the track. Don't, please, don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. Now we need a drum. Oh, so dear, she would never call me dear. Don't you know I'd die for you? Now you've gone, that's what I do.
Lover, please, please come back.
Don't take the train rolling down the track. Don't, please, don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. Da 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 da. Please come back and take the train rolling down the track. Don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery.
How about for the two Jims? Great band. Hey, Davey, I'm already in the Hall of Fame, so I'm sorry. I didn't tell you that one.
He was in there before we was born. No, he was inducted. When was you inducted, Lou?
99.
1999. And he's the big help of me and Jimmy getting in there, folks. And we owe it all to Lou.
Thank you, guys. Take care, everybody.
Me and this guy here, we've kept in touch.
A long time.
A lot of years. You know, he went to Detroit and I stayed back here, but every time he come home for Christmas, he called me. We called each other long distance. We've been friends. He's a true friend, folks.
Through thick and thin.
That's right. We traveled the road and we had to borrow money from each other to eat on a lot of times. We both ate a lot, even though he didn't gain no weight.
Hey, Tim. Say what? I haven't seen Barry in 30 years. That's the first cook you had. What's the first cook you had to do?
Say what?
What's the first thing you ask him?
You still have to.
Hell, I can't remember.
So I still say what the song? I still say what? I still say what song?
Do you still
sing
sing what song?
What song is that? Annie had a baby?
Yeah.
What was that you used to say to me all the time? I used to ask you, what one fork say to the other fork?
Let's fork each other.
That's a little joke we had. I'll tell you when we was in Sioux City, Iowa, we keep our pork and beans out on the sill. You remember that, Jim? It was so cold up there.
Yep.
And it's hard to believe. Jim come down one morning. We stayed with the Six Fat Dutchmen. I don't know if you ever heard of them, the Frankie Yankovic and the polka guys, wasn't it, Jim? Remember that? Well, anyway, Jim come down one morning, and me and Merle Burley was sitting there eating breakfast with Charlie Thurman and Jerry Bass. Jim said, you know, I read the paper this morning, you know that guy died last night? Merton sat there and Merton says, you know what? I believe he did, Jim. He stopped breathing. I might as well tell you what happened in Nashville, too. Lou and me was riding down the road, and Lou had his band. We had a bunch of big name entertainers in the band, yes, too. And Lou says, I told him, I said, boy, my pants awful tight. I think I got to loosen my belt. So I took my belt loose and started zipping my pants down a little to make them feel better, you know. I got out of the van in Nashville. Lou said, we have to have some breakfast at Shoney's before we go in to record. I said, well, I was always told by Bill Black and them guys not to eat before I record because you don't sound as good when you go in. Lou said, no, you need to eat because that makes you feel better when you go in and you'll sound better. So I get to going through the line. I went through and got my food and everything. All these guys were sitting over the table laughing. I couldn't figure out what it was all about. And I got down to the table and Lou says, Jim, did you forget something? I said, what? He said, your pants are unzipped.
Not only that, the belt was coming back when I
But it's crazy things like that you'll never forget, though. I'll tell you, we had a lot of good times together. We really did. And Jimmy and me did, too. We traveled that old station wagon a lot, didn't we?
Sure did.
People don't know if they've never been out there what it's like.
Nope.
Jimmy stayed out there longer than I did. I had to come back home. My father was sick. And I never went back out with Jim and them guys. And I went with another group later called the Shades, which ended up playing with Conway Twitty, the Huey brothers. You remember them, don't you, Jim?
Yep.
And I got out to go to work with the Shades. Tiny Ford sent me out there. And the guy decided he didn't want to quit for a while, so I had to find another job. So I went to work at Chuck and Mike's Club in Peoria, Illinois. And the first act I had to back was Don Gibson. He had Old Lonesome Me. That was the #1 record for him. That was the first job I had after that on the road. Then I ended up back at the Peppermint Lounge, back in Roy Oberson and Dale Shannon with the Shades. But then I came back home, and I've been here ever since. But Jimmy stayed in Detroit, and we've kept in touch all these years.
Yeah, but when I had my band, we played in Peoria,
Yeah.
the Club Peoria, in Chicago, about 10 years later.
10 years later.
They played the same club. So the horn section must have stood on the dance floor because the stage was just big enough for us.
Crazy things, but a lot of clubs we played. We stayed, well, up in Sioux City, we played 14 nights in a row.
Yep.
We was up practically all night working out for the shows. We practiced all the time. Then I had to play in the middle because they didn't have nobody to entertain while the band wasn't on stage. So I had to entertain while these guys were sitting down taking a break.
You did, too.
I did, yes. I'm still doing it. I enjoy it, and I know Jimmy does. We love the business, you know.
Well, you're right.
You gotta love it to be in it, and Lou will tell you that. It's not, you get your dues paid hard, and all the guys here play drums and everything knows that. But you gotta love the business. You don't do it for the money, you do it for what you love to do. And God give us the talent, and thank God that we're still here to tell you about it. We appreciate that. And all the people out there, we appreciate all the fans we've had. I've got a lot of good friends in this room, and I'm just glad to see them here. Even my mechanic's here today, old Bob Beckerman. He's back there somewhere, look at him behind me. He fixes all my vehicles and keeps me going. The wife used to work on them, but she said, I quit working on your vehicles. My wife used to be a mechanic. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
I want some cake, Jim. Shut up.
Yeah, well, Frank Wilson, I like his hat, I'll tell you that. He played bass for me a lot of years. When me and Dave Baker, the Flat River Flash, had a group. We played out on the roof one day with David Lee. Beautiful Wildwood Lake. Remember that, David? Yeah. Raining like a son of a gun, and he's the only disc jockey I know that can be looking at a bale of hay out the window and telling the people on WIL, this is a beautiful day down here at Wildwood Lake. He said, yo, they come on down, the sun's a shining. He's the only man I know can do that.
So everybody's driving through the rain.
So we appreciate you all coming today, and I I'm as happy with this award, and I know Jimmy is too, because it don't just happen to everybody, you know, and I never realized that for a long time, but it don't just come to anybody. So appreciate it, and thank y'all. Yeah, I mean it.
I made it too.
I do too, buddy.
Thanks, bud.
Song, remember it? Love, please,
Please come back. Don't take the train rolling down the track. Don't, please don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. Oh, little story, not too long, about a love that went all wrong. The girl loved the boy just as bad. Now she's gone and she's so sad. Love, please, please come back. Don't take the train rolling down the track. Don't, please don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. Now we need a drum. Focus on me. She would never call me dear. Don't you know I'd die for you? Now you've gone, that's what I do.
Lover, please, please come back.
Don't take the train rolling down the track. Don't, please don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery. Da 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 da. Please come back and take the train rolling down the track. Don't leave me. Don't leave me in misery.
How about for the two Jims? Great band.